and welcome to our Ethnic Reborn painting class, lesson 5 already. We are painting this lovely doll, Claire by Angela Degner, as my Eritrean lovely friend called Sarah. And this is the lesson in which we're going to finish painting the face. So I'm going to show you how to paint all of the details and how to finish the gorgeous skin tone so it looks even more like our reference photo. I am so excited to teach you how to finish the skin tone today. If you are learning a lot and if you like to learn from my videos, I would ask you already, please like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to make videos like this and so that I can continue to teach you more and more about painting. I'm super excited. Let's get started. This is what you need for this layer. You will need all of your brushes, all of your paints, of course one tip, your medium, a piece of toilet paper, your sponge, some water and your reference photos, and of course the reference photos from your ebook. We're going to start with some dark details. The skin tone of our little Sarah is coming closer and closer to the reference picture, but we're going to start with our darker details because when we see the right contrast, we can then decide how much skin color and how much brown we're going to use for the rest of the skin. So let's get started. We're going to start with a dark glaze. We're going to start with burnt umber on the side, together with matte medium in the middle, like we always do. Now I want you to make a glaze that is little less translucent as we used to. So 50% medium with 50% burnt umber. Because we're going to do some darker details now, it's okay to get some thicker glazes until the end. Okay, let's test it on our translucency paper. Yes, that is very nice. And we're going to start with the small details. So we're going to need our small brush for that. We're starting with the eyes. So with Sarah, you can see that around her eyes, it's a little browner than we have painted yet. So we're going to paint this part around the eyes and the crease of the eye in here. As you can see, that's a lot browner too, and we're going to do that on the other side as well. And the inside of the eyes, in here the light is hitting. This color is not really this white, that's the light. We're going to paint this part of the eyelid dark as well. But first the inside. And the crease. And the inside of the eye in here. Okay, I blend out the corner of the eye a little bit with my dry brush. And do the same on the other side. So be very careful. And then inside of the crease, a little more darker as well. And then the corner of the eye too. Alright, we're going to use this glaze inside of the nose because it's darker in there as well. And underneath the nose. And at the nostrils, the sides of the nostrils. And then blend out with your dry brush. You can see that above the lips it's a bit darker too. So we're going to use the same glaze and darken this area and attach it towards the nose without painting the white line in between. Blend the edge And then the other side as well. Attach to the nose and the inside. Okay, the corners of the mouth are dark as well, so we're going to fill them in and we're going to line them through the mouth towards the other corner. And you can paint the upper lip too with a little glaze. And then blend the edges. You can see it's like she has a little bit of darker line on the bottom lip, so we're going to paint this line darker. Just a small layer like that. Okay, I'm going to blend the top lip a little bit more. All right, and then we're going to do our usual part with the bigger brush, just because it's more convenient. We don't have to be that precise. So we're going to attach the sides of the mouth towards the chin and the neck. Just a little glaze like that. Attaching the corners of the mouth towards the chin and the neck. Blend the sides with your dry brush. All right. I see the inside of the eyes have a little bit more of brown too, but just a little part of it, just the beginning, so just this part. Let's try that there too. And also inside the corner of her eye, it's a bit darker as well. Yes, so this glaze we're going to use is at the space where the eyebrows are going to be. And you don't want to draw on eyebrows, just a little shadow on where they're going to be positioned. So don't draw on eyebrows, just make a little shadow like this. Just on top of the lifted part of the face. Exactly, so we're going to use the same glaze inside of the ears. Be sure to reach all of the small edges and corners inside of the ear, and the other side. If needed, you can blend, of course. The other side as well. You can also do this with your smaller brush. If you have more experience, you could also do it with this bigger brush. All right, perfect. I'm going to glaze the same glaze over the neck because I see the neck is a little bit darker still. Let's make a little more. Just a thin glaze over the whole neck. All right, and then attach it to the ears. Exactly like that. And then blend it out. The other side, also attach it to the ears. I see that I forgot. All right, and blend it out. Now that the lips are already dried, we're going to do another layer of this darker glaze over the lips again. So the top lip, and the line under the bottom lip. blend it out because we don't want it to be on the white part. We're going to use 50%, still the same mixture, one more time inside of the eyes. If your previous layer is dry already, of course. Otherwise, you should wait until it's dry and do it later one more time inside of the eye. So the contrast is nice and visible. Okay, then also one more time inside of the nose. And underneath the nose at the nose and at the side of the nostril. So we're going to repeat most of the steps where we can see, okay, this part needs a little bit of dark again. Okay, and I'm going to paint inside of the crease one more time. And the other side as well. Beautiful. Let us do a little bit more on the mouth too while we're on it, because we can see it's still a little bit darker. So we're actually repeating this step. We're doing this step twice, as you can see. All right, and then we're going to blend it out. Okay, we haven't done inside the edges of the mouth for the second time, so we're going to try that one more time. Edges of the mouth, the corners, I think I should say the corners of the mouth. Like that, indeed. Also blend very well. And when we are doing the creases, we shouldn't forget this crease. That gives us more depth to accentuate that one. Let's let this dry and start with our whole face. Okay, step number 2. We're going to make a glaze to cover the face one more time. It's a similar glaze as we just made. We're going to need burnt umber, which has a lot of yellowish components in it as well. This is why we don't have yellow itself as a color, but we use this paint which has some yellow in it. 70% burnt umber and 30% brown earth. Don't be like me, don't wear white when you're painting, because that is super dangerous. But I thought it was aesthetic. But painting should be fun, not just aesthetic, my friends. So I'm a bad example. Okay, so grab a lot of matte medium, put it in the middle, and make your mixture of 70% burnt umber, 30% of brown earth, and then the same mixture we're going to do. So when you've made your brown with 70% raw umber and 30% brown earth, you're going to mix it with your medium in an around 30% paint and 70% medium. As you see, we're going to go a little bit thicker because we are nearing the end. And be sure that with this layer that you swirl it very well and that your paint is nice and even, because that is very important, because especially in the last layer we don't want to see stripes. In the beginning it was easy to cover up, but these last layers are harder to cover up because you cannot go lighter. You can always go darker, you cannot go lighter. That is why we have these small little glazes with lots of medium and just a bit of paint. Let's try it out on our translucency paper. Let's see if we cover it, what happens. That is a beautiful glaze. Do you see that it's more of a yellowish tone compared to the reddish brown there? So we're doing we're starting the way we always start. First the forehead in parts, then the back of the head in parts, the neck, and then we are going to end with the face. This matches perfectly. This tone is gorgeous. So half of the forehead, I see that I've used a little bit much of paint. We're going to blend it a bit more. Half of the forehead, blend it. And you blend by dabbing the surface with your sponge. And since this is one of the last layers of skin tone, be sure to blend extra well, because we don't want stripes visible. Okay, that was one half of the head. The other half of the forehead. So do you see that this layer is still very translucent? So even though it's now 30% of paint and only 70% of medium, you can see it's still very translucent, because that's what we want. We want our base layers and our undertones and all of the modeling to shine through, just like it is with real skin. Okay, again dab it and blend it very well. And then let's do the back. And if you see any dust particles or dirt or hair in your paintwork, of course you can pause to grab your wand tip and go over it to clean. So when you've done the back of the head, you can blend it. You saw that I just made a mistake to put the sponge down on the side that I was blending with. That is not smart, because it can pick up dirt. So always put it down with the side you're not blending with. So blend very well the back of the head. And then let us do the neck. And don't forget to connect the neck to your ear by dabbing, so the paint won't pile up in the creases of the ear. Okay, then we're going to attach the neck to the chin, like we always do. And then attach the neck here to the ear as well. I see a piece of hair, we don't want that. All right, and then dab it. Okay, so now it is time for our cheeks. Let's start with the cheeks, and be sure to not take too much paint on your brush, because that will make it harder to blend. I still have some paint left, so I also paint the chin. So the cheeks and into the eyes. Dab into the eyes and then blend it well. Okay, before we start this part, we're going to do the other cheeks first, because this part we need to blend with our dry brush. We can't really reach that with a sponge. So dab it into all of the places of the eyes. And then dab the cheek nice and even. Okay, we're going to get our dry brush ready for blending the nose and stuff. Just a little bit of paint now on your brush. And dab the nose, the mouth, go over everything except for the lips. Alright, then blend with your dry brush so that you don't see any paint piling up. And then you can go over it with your sponge to be sure to have a nice little finish. Look at her skin tone. How pretty is that? Okay, we will not forget the ears, of course. I'm putting this one in the water already so it can soak the paint out. And just also again a little bit on your brush and then dab it on the total brutality of the ear. So inside of all of the creases and all of the ear itself. Then blend with your dry brush. Make sure it's really dry, otherwise it won't work. Blend with your dry brush and also the other side. Just again a little bit of paint only. And you can see how your whole painting on your doll is coming together. This is why my method really needs some patience, and you need to trust the process, because in the first layers, when you're only doing the undertones, it might look weird, but now with these skin layers, she is all coming together. Okay, let's take a break and let this dry for at least an hour. Now your doll has dried, you've cleaned your brushes and your sponge. We're going to focus a little bit on the lips. As you can see on the lips, the top lip is dark and almost some type of a purple. If you want to know the color, remember our color window, and you can go over the lip if you'd like, or zoom in on the picture in the ebook, and so you can take a closer look at the colors you can see in the lip. But we can see a purplish color on the top lip, and let me grab a brush. We can see a purple until here as well. You see that? It's all of a bluish purplish color. We have nails red, which is nice and purple, and we're going to put a little glaze over these areas, but keep the lighter area in here empty. We're making a mixture first of 70% nails red with 30% of blue. 70% nails red, 30% of blue. And then with your new made purple, the same as I said. I think we're taking 20% of paint with 80% of medium this time. Let's try on our translucency paper. Yeah, that's a nice bluish purple. Gorgeous. Let's go and paint this purple over the top lip. And it's okay if you go over the lines a little bit, because there no lips have like very firm lines. So just go over the lines a little bit, that's okay. It's a very thin glaze. And do the same with the sides of the bottom lip. Remember, just the sides. Like that. This purple is gorgeous, and I can see it as well underneath the eyes in here and in the corner of the eyes. So let's use it in the corner of the eye, a little bit of purple. And in the beginning of the eye, like this. I see a bit of purple here above the nose. So we're going to add a little bit of that. Blend it out. Perfect. And I see a little purple around the nose as well. And you can see how these little tiny details enrich the color of the face of little Sarah. And then blend them out a little bit. That is perfect. The same purple a little bit on top of the lip in here, on top of the, well, I still don't know the word, but let's call it the mustache area again. Look how pretty. All right. I see that inside of the ears there's a bit of purple too. So we're going to go over the inside of the ear with our small little brush. And you can see how this purple layer gives so much of depth. And if needed, blend with a dry brush. And the other side, inside of the ear as well. If your ears are already very purple, then you don't need to do this. It depends on how thick your glazes before were. All right, gorgeous. Well, we still have this pink we made with our nails red, and we're going to use that over the lips again. So I think with this paint, it's 30% of paint with 70% of medium. And now go over the full part of the bottom lip. And you can go over the edge a little bit again. And inside of the corners of the mouth, I want you to use the same red inside of the eye. You'll barely see a difference, but it's all about the details, my friend. It's all about the details. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Use the red inside the nose, because inside the nose the skin is always thinner, but they're also a little bit more pigmented. So because the ear is poking out like that, is coming out, I don't know how to say it, but this part of the ear is the highest and the closest to the cold. So we're going to add a little bit of red just to show that blood is flowing through there, and there's a little bit of differentiation in color. The other side as well, just the edge of the ear. Look at that, how she's coming to life. Now we still have this purplish red. We're going to add some final blood vessels to the face. So right now we want a little bit more of red. Let's say 50% of nails red and 50% of medium. Let's check that on our paper. 50% of nails red with 50% of medium. Look how beautiful this rich color of purple is. So purple red is more like a purple red, and we're going to accentuate the veins that we've already painted in our lesson called veins. And we're going to accentuate them. This is optional, you don't have to do this. But because some of the veins are already covered a little bit, you can accentuate them a little bit. But you don't want them to lay on top of your dolls. And I go with little bit of red because I've explained to you that the deeper veins appear more bluish. The veins that are more on the surface appear more red. We're going to improvise, painting some capillaries here and there to add a little bit to the depth. This again is optional. Some people love very detailed dolls with some redness in the face or some capillaries showing. Other people are like, nah, I like a smooth little baby. It's all preference. Okay, now we have this thicker layer of 50% Nails Red and 50% medium. We're going to use this thicker layer now on our dry lips and go over the whole lips again. Very, very nice. And then this thick layer only inside the corner of the eyes. Like that. Perfect. And we're going to want this to dry, and then we're going to add our final layer to the mouth. Okay, it is time to finish the lips. As you see, the top lip is still a lot darker and the sides of the bottom lip as well. So we're going to make the same purple as we did before. So 50% Nails Red with 50% Phthalo Blue, which makes a purple like this. And then again 50% of your purple with 50% of medium. Let us check on our translucency paper. That is perfect, just the same. So first only the top lip, and these kids' lips are a little bit thinner than our references lips, and that's okay. A little bit, I go a little bit over it. That's a bit much. And then the sides of the bottom lip. Just the sides. So the top and the sides. And a little bit of purple again, just in the middle under the eyes. And in the middle, the highlights here. And blend it out with the brush. Now the last layer we're going to do to make the lip blend in more with the face itself is a little bit of brown earth, because it's now too bright purple in my opinion. This time 50% brown earth with 50% of medium. First on the top lip. And then over the sides of the bottom lip and just in between. And in the middle, just like that. And then we're going to blend it. And when it's dry, I still see a little bit more purple on the sides, so we're going to repeat our purple until we think the color is the best. And once again on the top lip. Like that. Go over with your dry brush just to make sure it doesn't pile up. Exactly. And to be honest, I feel like it should be one more layer of brown earth. So when your lips are dry, add one more layer of brown earth. Oh wow, yes, this is perfect. And I blend it with the rest of the edges of the lip. Like this. Now that our lips are dried, I see that the color is almost perfect already, but it could be still a little bit thicker and more precise. And make another glaze of 50% brown earth with 50% medium. And we still have some of the purple left. I'm going to add that to the edge. 50% purple and 50% brown earth. This will give a color that is very similar. Do you see that? It's almost the same color. All right, let's paint the glaze very carefully onto the top lip. And now I want you to stay within the lines and not go over them anymore. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the edges of the lip, the bottom lip, and I see that underneath there and in the middle. I think it's okay to put this glaze over the whole lip. Yes, for more unity. This brings it all together. I think it's perfect. Look at that. Very, very, very pretty. Oh my gosh, she is so cute, and you will be so excited when we're going to add the eyes, because that is when she will come together the most. I see that there is a little bit more of purple in the edges of the mouth. This is just the tiniest details, and you can, maybe yours don't need it because your glazes have been thicker. But these are just some tiny details. Yes, the corners of the mouth, I mean the edges of the bottom lip. Like that. And the top lip as well. Pretty. So this is it. This is the lips, how we have them now. Look at that, so cute. Wow, we have come so far today. And as you see, I already inserted the eyes and matted the doll because I forgot to record this little end of the video. But in the next lesson, as you can see, we're going to mat the doll and insert the eyes as I did in here. And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on how to paint eyebrows. This is going to be amazing and I cannot wait. So do you want to share your process, and do you want to encourage other people to also learn and grow with you in how to paint reborn dolls of color? Go and enter our free Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group which is a safe space to ask all of your questions to all of the other students. It is amazing. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if all this information is overwhelming for you, or if you just want to go over it again, or if you want the reference photos for yourself and watch them and zoom in and study them closer, send me an email and I'll send you the ebook with all of the information and the reference photos in it. I am excited for our next lesson. Will I see you there? Bye!